You know what I'm saying? It's draft time, fellas. It's draft time, ladies and gentlemen. This is probably one of the most exciting times of the year in the NBA life cycle because we're getting a chance to see the crop of new young stars coming into the NBA. And today, I'm going to go over some of the wing prospects that we have coming in the draft, and particularly the guys that have a lot of potential and need to harness their powers to be able to get to where they need to get once they get into the NBA. So, everybody sit back, relax, tune in, get some headphones, enjoy the tunes in the background, and tune in and get cozy. It's your boy, Cozy Boy Don. Let's get it. Alright, we're going to start out with one of the Ignite boys, Jonathan Kaminga. 6'7", 215-pound small forward prospect coming from the G League Ignite, by the way, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, in his 1 year with the Ignite, in his 13 games, he averaged 16 points, 3 assists, 7 rebounds, and his shooting numbers weren't that impressive. They were at 38% from the field, 25 from 3, and 62 from the line. But the thing about it is, when you sit back and watch him play, you can see the flashes of potential in his game. He has a chance to be a 3-level scorer. He has a nice mid-range game. He's developing his jumper from 3, and he can get to the lane, and he can finish at the rim with his elite athleticism. Now, he also has a nice little post-up game as well. And as he gets better and he starts to mature and he fills out his frame and he gets a better feel for the NBA pace and the NBA game and learns the tricks of the trade, I feel like he'll be a 3-level scorer whose ability is at an all-star level. Now, on the other end of the ball, defensively, he's going to need some work. One-on-one defense, he's pretty solid at, just because of his athleticism and his ability to move his feet and to be able to recover if he is beaten with his elite athleticism. Now, off the ball is a different story. There's so many clips that I went through and sparsed through just to see what he was like off the ball. And sometimes he looked to be disengaged. Sometimes he was not navigating screens the correct way, not communicating switches. And really, with that, I feel like that's just going to come with time, because jumping straight from high school to a professional level is obviously going to be a huge difference in the play style, and you can't really fall asleep on anybody on the offensive end once you're playing professionally, because everybody's good. Now, he's projected to be a top 5 pick. I expect him to go in the top 5, and the jump shooting from an 18-year-old is something that you shouldn't ever really worry about more times than not, because they're 18 years old. They're not going to be in the league knocking down shots or just anywhere just knocking down shots consistently with the type of profile that Jonathan Kaminga has as a player athletically, his stature, and his strengths already. Like I said, he can score at the rim. He has a nice little mid-range game. He likes to post up smaller guys and even like-size guys. And he has the ability to make some nice little slick passes out of his post-ups, driving down the lane. That's some nice outlet passes. He can bring it up the full length of the court. He can really do a lot of things on the court. And I think his potential is really unlimited. And he can be whatever he wants to be in the NBA. He just needs to get a more consistent jump shot. That's why he shot 38% from the field. And he needs to work on his off-ball defense, which includes like a lot of studying and just getting with the right people, the right coaches, and things like that to be able to become the player that he needs to be. Now, what do I think he can be? I think he can be an all-star level player, all NBA level player. And when you look at him play, you can kind of see shades of a guy like a Jaylen Brown, Jimmy Butler, and this is just a projection. I'm not going to say that he plays like him at all right now, but the certain things like the post-ups, the mid-range game, the ability to be good one-on-one defensively, and even sometimes when he comes in and cleans up, he does things at the opportune time. It kind of reminds me of Kawhi Leonard a little bit. Not Kawhi Leonard as of right now, at this level in his prime, but a younger Kawhi Leonard, just a guy that can score, play defense, get timely shots. He can really just has a nice feel for the game. And I really think that's who Jonathan Kuminga can be. Hopefully, he gets with the right organization to be able to do those things. Now, the teams that I think would be the best fits for him, I'm gonna give out 3. I'm gonna go with the Toronto Raptors at number 4, the Thunder at 6, and the Magic at 5. So, the Raptors, they have a good track record with developing young players into guys that are really, really key cogs on the team. Look at guys like Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, and I think Jonathan Kuminga could fit in that core, and he can learn a lot from them and be an impact player right away playing around those kind of veterans. Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder would be essentially a sandbox for Jonathan Kuminga, a place where he can go, develop, experiment, and really be able to spread his wings. And the Thunder also have a really good track record of player development as well. You think of guys like Shea, Darius Bazley, and just guys like that have been able to develop in the Thunder system. And outside of that, the Magic, I guess. The Magic don't really have too many wings anymore, so he would fill a void that they would probably be looking to fill at number 5. So that would be really the 3 landing spots that I could see him going, and the Raptors and the Thunder would be ideal for him in the range that he's projected to go. Scottie Barnes, probably my favorite player out of this cluster of guys. A forward that played at Florida State, a bunch of accolades, ACC 6th Man of the Year, Freshman of the Year, All ACC Freshman Team, All ACC Team, and All ACC Tournament Team. Now, as a prospect, he's 6'9", 230, with a 7'3" wingspan and weighs 230 pounds. His strengths start off on the defensive end of the floor. He's a versatile defender. He can guard damn near 1 through 5 with his 7'3" wingspan and huge hands, right? He's built sort of like a Ben Simmons on the defensive end. He can move his feet. He really excelled guarding point guards, actually, putting pressure on the ball, disrupting, getting steals while guards aren't really locked in and paying attention. And his ball pressure really is one of the strong suits of his defensive game, but that's not the only thing he can do. Now, off the ball, he's a great communicator. He can switch. He can make up the difference. He can play in the gaps. He can challenge shots at the rim. He can really do a lot of things on the defensive end that guys at his age that are coming into the league won't be able to do. And I think that'll give him a leg up in regards of getting minutes and being able to be effective on the floor. Now, offensively, it's a mixed bag, right? He is an elite athlete, so he can finish at the rim, especially in transition. He'll catch a body. He'll for sure catch a body. But when the game slows down, he can be a guy that can initiate offense, be a decent screener, can be a guy that can catch on a short roll and make a play, whether that be a floater, a kick to the corner, a nice bounce pass to a cutter, and he can really be used as a screener on offense in a half-court setting. But if he gets a chance to spread his wings and develops like a nice mid-range pull-up jumper or a nice little floater game or even a post game at his size and his strength and his aggressiveness, if he's able to develop like a post game or just like a nice little mid-range in-between game, I think he'll really benefit from that on the offensive end. I don't think he'll be a great three-point shooter because, I mean, there's just some guys when you look at him and you see him, he's like, I don't know if he'll ever be a great shooter. But the goal with him is to be a respectable shooter, in my opinion, right? Because if you got a guy like him on the court and he's a respectable shooter, you got to be able to get out to him, and that plays to his strength. So he can hard close out, right by you to the rim, bang, bang, kick out to the corner. It can open up so many different things, and the potential for Scottie is really limitless just because the base that he starts off at at this age coming into the NBA is really crazy. Now, like I said with the weaknesses, his shooting isn't great. It's not a strong suit. Don't think he'll really be a great shooter. And another thing that I noticed is sometimes when he gets to the rim or he gets an offensive rebound or just around the rim sometimes in general, that he'll try to rush like a shot back up and he'll end up missing. He can really benefit from working on his touch around the rim, and from there his game inside the paint will be really, really good. Now, when you talk about player comps and fits, right? For Scottie, like I said before, Ben Simmons type of player, Draymond Green, and another guy that I throw it back to for the guys that know about this person, Andre Karolinko. If you don't know about Andre Karolinko, he is the ultimate Swiss Army knife for your team. He can hit shots, he can get steals, lock up your best defender, get blocks, make slick passes, and things like that. Like a guy like, if you think of Andre Karolinko, it's on the tree of a guy like Andre Iguodala. But Andre Karolinko was 6'10". You know what I'm saying? And the best fits for Scottie would be getting out with a team that can run and a team that needs help defensively, to be honest, because that's what he's going to bring right away. And a team that can run and pick up the pace would be a really good fit for him in a range that he's in. The teams I think he would fit well with would be the Sacramento Kings. The Kings were terrible on defense last year, and a guy like the caliber of Scottie will be able to help them, and he'll be able to give those guys that energy boost, and he's like a natural leader. Him and De'Aaron Fox will probably be very, very, very good teammates and get a synergy right away. Now, him, Tyrese, and De'Aaron will be scary on the defensive end as they grow together and get older. I don't think he'll be able to get to the 9th pick, but if he does, boy oh boy, would that be a steal. Now, the Thunder. Just the Thunder have a blank slate outside of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So they'll be able to slide a guy like Scottie in, sit him next to Lou Dort, and let them boys go to work on defense. Let them boys go to work. Let them boys go to work on defense. And I think he'll be able to grow as an offensive player. Like I said, OKC's like a blank slate as with their roster, so he'll be able to grow and spread his wings. Orlando, like I said before with Jonathan Kuminga, Orlando doesn't have too many wings. And if you put him and Jonathan Isaac on the same court, my boy, it's going to be scary. As well as Markelle Fultz too, so that defensive trio will be insane. Now, last but not least, the Cavs. I don't know how it worked, but if you get rid, if they're going to trade Colin Sexton like they said they were, then that's a nice little tandem on defense with Isaac Okoro and Scottie Barnes. You know what I'm saying? Or if they even if they keep Sexton, this 5, Garland, Sexton, Okoro, Barnes, and Jared Allen wouldn't be bad at all. They got 3 defenders around them, 2 guards that are super scorers and facilitators that can get those type of guys open shots, especially Darius Garland, his playmaking ability. Colin Sexton's just a super scorer. So those are the 4 teams I think he would fit with the best. But all in all, Scottie is a great prospect. He has a great chance to be a great player in this league, and he's definitely going to be a great defender. Jalen Johnson, probably the most polarizing prospect that we have in a draft for the off-the-court reasons, which is never really good, but it is what it is. He left IMG in the senior year to go back home, and he also left Duke halfway through the season, so there's been questions about his character and things like that, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for him as a prospect. Jalen is a 6'9", 220-pound forward that played 13 games at Duke, and in his 13 games, he averaged 10.3 points a game, 6.1 rebounds, and 2.2 assists on 52% from the field, 44% from 3, and 63% from the line. Now, with those numbers, there's a bit of context needed with the 3-point percentage because it's at 44.4%, but he shot 1.5 threes a game. So essentially about 1 to 2 threes a game he shot, and he made possibly 1 quarter of 1, but yeah, it's not a large sample size to be like, yeah, he's a great shooter. So as a player, he's super talented. He's a wing who can score around the basket, pass with the best of match position, and is an impressive athlete. In his performances with the Blue Devils, he showed flashes of his offensive and defensive potential. He's not a baked cake yet, and there's a saying that good food cooks slow. So if he gets with the right team and gets guidance and structure and somebody that can be able to be there to help him out along the way, I think he'll be a great player. Offensively, he can post up occasionally. He can hit an open three sometimes. He can get to the rim, operate from the high post as a driver or as a facilitator. He's a good cutter and a confident shooter. Even though he's not a great shooter, he's a confident shooter. And in the open court, he can fill the lane. He can finish above the rim. He can finish at the rim with some nice layups. He'll catch a body. It's like these other two guys I'm talking about. He can catch a body. Catch a body at the rim. He can handle the ball pretty well, and like I said before, he's a really good passer for his size. He can find guys cutting, he can find guys on the break, he can find guys from the high post, he can find guys off the P&R. He do a lot with his passing vision, and I think that's what makes him one of the more special prospects coming out in this draft. Now, on the defensive end is going to need some work, right? He's a solid help defender. That's why he gets a good amount of blocks. He got some steals and things like that because of his help defense and other guys not being able to see him. But as a one-on-one defender, he's going to need a little bit of work. He's not the quickest lateral mover, and he tends to stand up straight on defense, so it leads to him getting blown by more times than not in a one-on-one situation off the bounce and off the ball, just like probably with every other player at his age and his caliber. As an off-ball defender, he's probably not going to be the best. He's not really good at it right now, and he's probably not going to be good at it for about a year or so in the NBA as well, just because it's an adjustment period, because everybody on the floor, once you get to a certain level, is really good, and if you're not attentive, they will score. They can go back door, cut in front of your face, set an off-ball screen, 2 pin downs, a pin down, a flare. You can really do whatever in the NBA offense because it's more spread out and everybody has talent and ability. And for him to be able to be a good defender, he's going to be able to have to lock in and be engaged all the time on defense, especially when he's off the ball. Because like I said, off the ball, he can be inattentive, he can fall asleep, and sometimes that leads to him committing really foolish fouls. And as a prospect, Jaylen is a mixed bag, but the situation that he had leaving is going to affect his draft stock. It already has. Going in, he was probably a top 5 prospect, and now he's looking around top 10. With guys, the emergence of guys like Scottie Barnes and Jonathan Kuminga at his position, those two guys surpassed him in my opinion, but Jaylen still has a lot of talent. It just needs to be harnessed in the right way. Now, for Jaylen as a prospect, to be honest with you, him, like player comparisons, there aren't really too many I can think of as of right now, but off the top of my head, I think of a guy like Aaron Gordon. I think he could be a guy similar to that, because if you look at Aaron Gordon's game, you look at Jalen Johnson's game side by side, they look similar. Crazy athletes with crazy bounce, a developable. Aaron Gordon has developed a nice three-pointer and a nice little mid-range game. He can set screens, he can pass pretty well, and they're really just solid all-around players. And I think that's what Jaylen could develop into being. Now, fit-wise, there aren't too many teams that I think he can really fit with. I would say the best fit for him would be going 11 with Charlotte and playing with a guy like LaMelo in a high-tempo, fast-paced offense that is just really fun to watch. Him, Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, that front court would be nice. There's other guys that can play and guys he can learn from, like PJ Washington, Miles Bridges, and Gordon Hayward. And he can also feed off of LaMelo and Devontae Graham, Terry Rozier, and there's plenty of scoring around him, so he doesn't have to carry the scoring load. I think that would be the best fit for him. Other than that, you can see Sacramento. Sacramento can bet on the potential. Other teams will just be betting on the potential in them. San Antonio, Indiana, places like that will have to bet on his potential to be able to be the player that can be that Aaron Gordon type of player, like a key cog in your rotation, a starting player that's solid all around, doesn't really have too many holes in their game, and can provide good minutes for your team. Alright, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Let me know how you think about the video, what you think about these 3 prospects coming in, and leave your comments below. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend, tell their friend and tell their grandmama, their cousin, their sister, their auntie, their uncle, their great grandma, their great grandpa, their basketball coach, whoever. Tell them whatever. Tell them Cozy Boy Don is out here doing this thug thizzle, and we trying to make it on this YouTube thing. So I really appreciate it if you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video. Until next time, I'm out.